Welcome to another edition of the Dental Today podcast. Thank you for stopping by. This is brought to you by labmediatv. My name is Hezekiah Morales, and here we go. Remember to follow us on social media at labmediatv. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Dental Today podcast. We do have a great friend of ours here out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, or Miami, Florida, actually, right now, by way of Mexico City, Dr. Raymond Rophie. Good to have you on the show. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you doing?
Oh, fantastic as usual.
How are you doing, Ezek? Good?
Fantastic. It just seems like we keep on playing phone tag. You're traveling, we're in meetings on this side, and we can. It's hard to pin you down.
Oh man, no. Yeah, I've been. Thank God, all of us we're really busy at these times. We're in a pretty cool stage in dentistry, so it's pretty cool. We've been busy all around. What about you, Eddie? Thank you for having me here, by the way.
No, it's a pleasure to have you here. I think we met like about 2 years ago. No, 3 years ago when you
3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago when you started CAD Cam to you here.
Yeah.
But you
Yep.
didn't start here. Your background is a dentist, implantologist, comprehensive dentistry, all the way in Mexico City, and then you made your transition.
Yeah.
Here. Why don't you begin to share a little bit on your background there?
Okay, so I graduated dental school in 2006, and I was having my own practice since maybe 2007. Then I opened my own private practice, a large practice in Mexico City, Smile Creation Center. And it was like a comprehensive, like a multi-specialty group, which I was presiding at the moment. And by 2009, we had our first CEREC machine there, which it was pretty big at the moment because I didn't know a lot of people having that technology in Mexico. The reason why I started doing all that is because I was like a control freak that I wanted to have like everything planned, everything ahead, everything like fast for the patient, like extremely precise, and that's why I started with digital, and then I just got hooked up with all the digital things, and after that I started doing all this cleft, lip, and palate in an association in Mexico as well, and then in 2014 I came, in 2014, mid-14 I came to the United States. And I started a lab. So it was first a CEREC lab only, and then I was like from office to office to do the smiles in a day. And after that, I came like a full service lab for over a year, where I started where I learned actually how to do all the implants, supported prosthesis digitally in exocad. And I started as well knowing about 3Shape and Blue Sky Plan, the Blue Sky Plan software. And then by very early 2018, I started working in Blue Sky Bio, where I am now working there, doing all the laboratory support, all the advanced clinical support as well. Helping with developing on parts of the modules, such as the ortho, the denture, the crown and bridge. Now, the most that I have been involved now has been on the crown and bridge, the new module in Blue Sky Plan software, which is pretty cool because it's going to be a completely free software.
Wow.
For good. It's amazing for the people that they cannot afford like a CAD software, right? You can just do it in Blue Sky Plan, which is as well a free software to download, to use, and the crown and bridge will be free to even export the STL files to provide restorations and implant restorations. And as well, I do courses for surgical guide and how to utilize the ortho software and the denture software on Blue Sky Plan and exocad. I've been in last March. I did I finished doing an exocad course in Cairo in Egypt actually for the IDDA. And so yeah, I've been doing a lot of education since 2016. Courses here in Latin America, in United States, in Canada. I've been also in Europe. I'm gonna be in September. I'm gonna be in Portugal and Spain and London doing some courses, which is gonna be cool about guided planning, which will be prosthetic-driven implant restorations, which I love that. And basically, that's what I do.
So you've been in this CAD/CAM game for quite a while now, about 10 years. In those 10 years, what would you say has changed the most in this this arena, the digital dentistry arena?
Well, I think the accessibility, number one, is what has changed dramatically, right? Because at the time, I mean, I literally imported my CEREC in Mexico, and there was no support. There was nothing to actually rely on. I remember that I was doing all the service and maintenance to my machines. I burned my first 20 or 30 crowns in the furnace without knowing how to stain and glaze them. I had to change the spindle motor of MCXL of the milling machine a couple of times also. So it was definitely not accessible. It was difficult to work with because of the time, the price of the machine, of the old equipment, and the consumables as well. And you had just to get it by by all the brands. In that time it was Sirona. Now you have like a lot of other brands going in the game. Well, the prices have been dropped a lot, and the social media has helped like tremendously on the development of digital dentistry, right? As well, the 3D printing came up, and 3D printing has been really a good hookup for all the people that was interesting on becoming digital. So that's what I would say that has been like improving. Now the accessibility of the people has been the major change, that like from 10 years to now. Before it was like very isolated people doing things, and now everybody and great minds can just like think together in the social media. And by the time you're thinking something, maybe you saw that another person in Australia started doing a few months ago, and then you can just start like brainstorming over there with it. And you can just, of course, take ideas from other people and use your own, or ask for advices, or taking courses. You have a lot of courses nowadays that you can attend, or that you can just take by webinars. YouTube is a tremendous site for information where you can learn as well. So yeah, I would say that accessibility. And then the second thing that I can answer is the combination of the softwares. Before you can only do like, the combination is super important. I mean, before you could only use like CEREC for only crown and small bridges, and that's it, right? Today you can use CEREC or any scanner for taking an STL file, and then with the DICOM file that you take from the CBCT, you can combine it in another software that is Blue Sky Plan. Then you can export it to either Mesh Mixer or exocad or whatever, and then you can just start doing extremely large planning. Sorry, wait just 1 second. Extremely large. Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay.
So I'll continue. So now you can do like this. I won't say large. It's it's wrong, the term. It's more complex planning and really like amazing stuff that is coming now on in digital dentistry. Now imagine that there are people that they can come in with really failed dentition, and then after a 3-hour surgery or whatever, they can go out with teeth fixed with a fixed restoration over implant, like perfectly planned and 3D printed on the temporary, or using a. I've been trying to know a system now that it's a PIC, which is like a scan. It's a picture that will basically give the full implant positions for the full mouth. Okay, for full arch implant restoration, like extremely precise.
Wow.
And that was something that even 1 year ago, in my mind, about 1 year ago, 2 years ago, it was like a dream, like very difficult to do, or with workflows that they were extremely difficult to, or very expensive to know, or very, again, they were inaccessible. And now it's becoming way more accessible on this thing.
So you're saying that it's become a lot more accessible, yet there are still certain doctors or certain laboratories, yeah, even here in the United States, that are still a little hesitant to get involved with digital dentistry. Could be a little bit of the fear of the unknown, or maybe it's something new. What would you say, or what would you advise doctors, these laboratories, to help them overcome any fear that they may have?
Okay, so basically that's a great question. I mean, it's an era, right, that we have the accessibility of the softwares, the accessibility of having everything in a laptop, very low cost technologies, or even high cost. There is like for everybody, right? But what is a limitation for the user himself on this would be, I would say that it's like the computer challenges. Basically now is all computer based when you're talking about digital dentistry, of course. And there are people that, even though that they are extremely good clinicians or very good lab techs, they are just like computer challenged, okay? Or vice versa. You have like extremely talented digital technicians that they really don't know a lot on the steps or on the softwares. So basically, I would say the challenge or the missing link would be the easiness of use. Basically, the learning curve. I would say I would summarize this on a learning curve. Okay, a learning curve for an excellent technician that want to become digital will be sitting in a computer for hours until you get friends with the computer, or a clinician that wants to start using the computers is the same thing. Is sitting on the computer, taking courses, and then from there start training and training and training. And I think what is missing is the wheel, or the I would say the spread of word, or even though let me say it in proper English, I'm sorry. I would say is the inaccessibility of the doctors that try something new. Okay, I would say the resistance to change, it's a human situation, okay? And that will be something that limits a lot for the users. So what will overcome this? A solution for this, and this is something that I always say in my beginner courses, is you already have the laptop, you already have the course, you have YouTube. Just sit on the laptop 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, and have a goal. I want to learn how to take a proper CBCT and download my files, or have to put all my files together in one software, or I'm going to just grab my software and I'm going to start designing a crown or designing a surgical guide, or taking digital impressions in my digital impressions, scan intraoral scannings or extraoral scannings in my office. That will be the solution for working, because really now the options in equipment and the options in technology are everywhere.
Endless options.
Yeah, endless.
Absolutely. So,
right.
Now,
and looking for, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, this is extremely important to say. So one step that we in Blue Sky Bio did, this was actually Michael Saltzman idea. It was great. It's a great project. It's Lab Pronto, okay? So I think that now we have one link or one piece of the puzzle that will streamline the learning curve for doctors or technicians or whoever is interested in doing digital dentistry, okay, which is called the outsource, okay? Now you can outsource, I'm going to say this example, okay? So now you can outsource a surgical guide from a CBCT and a model, stone model, okay, and send it to one of the labs in Lab Pronto. And you can have your surgical guide back in your office if it's a very urgent case. You can have it as soon as 24 to 48 hours in turn back. And the cost would be about $150 for one surgical guide with one implant.
Wow.
Okay, this 2 years ago, it was impossible. Okay, you would have sent one surgical guide to Germany or to Israel, and then it will come back here in the United States about 2 or 3 weeks later. And if any changes or anything was not perfect, then it was all to the garbage, and it was thousands of dollars in investment, and that was really difficult to access. Now, with these outsourcing services, everything is becoming now way better and way easier for the user.
That is truly amazing, and it just goes to show how technology really changes the world. It really does. And now that a second ago you did talk about somebody being challenged when it comes to using a computer or a laptop to begin their journey, right, through the design and running their cam, all these things. But even more so, I'd like to have your experience in sharing with us. What are your recommendations for a laptop or a PC to effectively run a design program, a design software?
I think that's a great question, and if you guys are watching this video, this will be a great piece of information for you guys to start your journey in digital dentistry. I would say that the most important, the key factor for your computer that you're looking for is, number one, the graphics card unit. You should always look, I mean, we're really get used to look at a computer and judge if it's good or bad by the processor or the RAM memory or the storage capabilities of the computer, okay? And none of those is really relevant for digital dentistry, or at least for digital planning in Blue Sky Bio and Blue Sky Plan. A very powerful computer, it's measured here because you have to render 3D images, is measured within the graphics card. So a graphics card, I would say an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1070 or better, that would be like the first and most important part of my search, okay? Because any computer that you look for that has this graphics card, again, so if you can actually write this in a here in the bottom of the screen, if you can write it down, it's an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1070 or better. any of those computers will have the proper RAM memory, the proper storage capabilities, the proper screen resolution, the proper everything, the processor, everything will be already set in those computers, right? So the price range will be, now we're in August 2019. These computers that I'm talking about, this will be between $1,100 up to $3,000, $3,500, the newest or the best ones, right? But I would say 1,100 will be the lowest. I would focus more between the 1,500s range, and that would be my best recommendation, because there you will not have any limitations within the capability of your hardware.
All right, so you just mentioned the video card. Now, what about the RAM, the random accessible memory?
Doesn't matter. I mean, of course it matters. At least you want about 16. But I would say with the 1070, even if you have 8 gigabytes of RAM memory, it will work. Okay? And most of the computers that have the 1070 will have 16 gigs.
Interesting.
That's for sure.
Interesting.
And you can look for them in Best Buy, in Amazon, everywhere.
Very nice, very nice. Any other recommendation for a PC or a laptop for us to keep in mind? Any brands
I would
away from any brands that you recommend?
Well, yeah, I would say PC now is better option than Apple. The reason for this is because now most of the software for CAD/CAM is developed for PC. So I would say a PC and a laptop. Why a laptop? Because the most important or the key factor in digital dentistry, again, is education, right? So a laptop, you can just close it, and it's a portable device that you can take to your attending courses, and that will be a key factor for your career, for your learning curve.
For the development. That's fantastic. You know, I hadn't thought about that. That a laptop, you can definitely take it. That makes total sense. Total sense there. Now, again, I do believe that that technology certainly enables a lot of things and it improves on a lot of processes. Now, being a doctor and a surgeon that you are, and you practice this for many years, you did work with your hands. You went into transitioned into digital dentistry, which is still essentially working with your hands. But being that you did work in a lab, how much would you say? How important is it for somebody to work with their hands, or is it not so important nowadays in digital dentistry?
No, come on, that's a great question. But I would say that being a lab, it just made me a better dentist in many ways. I mean, being a dentist, of course, I love it. I really love it. I actually go very frequently to Mexico. I just had to retake that career, and I am trying now to go more and more often to do surgery. We recently did a bimaxillary case of 12 implants and bone reduction and everything planned. It was amazing. We did this. We did with the Cometa Bio the dentin graft material. It was great. We do that a lot. I try to do more and more surgery in Mexico now. Every time that I have like a very good patient or good opportunities, I go there and I try and I treat my patients or the patients. But being a lab, it opened me. I mean, I really I cannot stress enough how much respect I have for the lab technicians everywhere. I mean, I've learned so much about not only technical stuff, but how a restoration should be done. What about anatomies? What about materials, physics, engineering in your mind to solve problems? Because that's what you do in the lab world, right? You are basically the hidden magician that it's solving everybody's troubles and it's fixing everything, and it's trying to do all the best for aesthetics and functionality. And so I can just say that now, after I have the experience as a lab tech, I really can say that I learned how to do better prosthetics, better prosthodontics, better preparations, better impressions, better everything. The shade matching techniques, the photography, everything. I just cannot stress enough how much would I recommend or would I suggest the doctors to create or even enhance their relationship with their technicians. Okay, that is another advice. If there are any doctors, which I bet there will be, looking at this, I just really suggest that part. And also, it will be the same suggestion for all the lab technicians. Guys, you're the best. I mean, really, being a technician has been the best thing that ever happened to me in learning. And I can just tell you, go to the offices, and if you have any challenges with your doctor, just be clear and try to show them how to do it. It will be good for everybody because you will learn from the doctors, and the doctors will learn a lot from you guys as well. So that will be something that I could recommend for all the lab technicians. And just as a parenthesis, if you guys enhance this relationship, there will not be ever a large lab or any real competition that you will have that will challenge your business in the dental lab industry. Okay, because now there is a big fear in the lab tech that with digital dentistry and the huge competition, the big companies will come and take over all the business. You know, guys, this is completely this is a challenge. Of course, it's a challenge because you will have to get on top of the technology. You will have to get on top of the customer service, and you will have to get on top of everybody. Actually, the reason why I started using Exocad it was because I started as a steric lab, but suddenly here in as you know, here in South Florida, you suddenly have like 8 or 9 people doing the same thing. So I started with one price range of, I'm going to put an example, of $250 per unit in a same-day crown, and then I started looking at my competition charging about $100 per unit. So it was crazy. It was crazy, the competition. So what I did is I went to do only implants. And then I went to do the surgical guys with the implants and the restorations. And that positions you way more specialized, and that will give you way better business opportunity for keeping your niche, your people, your customers, and of course making a business and a good thing out of your lab.
You know, it's very
sorry. I mean, I didn't meant to say, but this is something that I really learned the hard way, but I really learned it, and it will be a good piece of information for the people that it will be looking at this.
For sure, and it's very interesting that you mentioned that, because I am at LMT Chicago every year, and more and more we encounter doctors walking around and asking questions and engaging with dental technicians and learning from dental technicians, and it's a very wonderful thing to see, a wonderful integration to experience when we see doctors asking dental technicians and really taking the dynamic, the dental industry dynamic to the next level. And it's a wonderful thing. I've met quite a bit, my share of doctors in Lab Day in Chicago. It's amazing what you bring up. And also, you did mention that you're doing a lot of teaching, a lot of coaching and teaching. Where can we find your material? What website do we go to find your courses?
So basically, the best way to find our courses will be either in my website, which is CADCAM2U, CADCAM2U.com, or in the blueskybio.com in the Facebook users group. If you go there and click the training, I usually post there a lot of my courses. These are very friendly. I have a series of courses there called the ABCs of digital planning and digital dentistry, of course. And these are for beginners that they would like to start with the journey on the digital dentistry. Definitely, this will be great for technicians, for students, for doctors, for assistants. That is something that I start. And then from there, you can always upgrade and either continue with my other courses or go with, actually, there are like already very recognized people such as Corey Glenn, such as Baron Grutter, really good people that they are doing great courses, okay? And after taking the basics, you can definitely go and upgrade to greater or more people more experienced in lecturing more complex stuff, okay? Because yes, I've done and I do a lot of training for more advanced, but there are great people out there doing great courses. What I could recommend and what makes basically the ABC's great option is that it's for beginners. And in beginners in surgical planning, beginners in CAD/CAM restorations, beginners in ortho planning for clear aligners, and how to use the software, how to choose the cases, what to do, what to not to do. That's the most important, and how to do it. And one of my favorite things to teach is how to make all this make financial sense for the people that are taking my course, right? So if the lab techs come, I'll teach them how to make really use of this. And if doctors come, I will make them emphasize how to really streamline their production and why it makes a lot of sense using the technology in their offices, in their daily practice.
That's fantastic. The ABCs of CAD, that's what it was, correct?
Of digital planning, and 3D printing.
You know what? We're going to be, for our listeners on the podcast and for our viewers on YouTube, we'll be including these links in the description, ladies and gentlemen. So you can definitely check it out there. It's been a pleasure, Dr. Raymond Rophie, having you on the show.
Thank you, buddy.
It's always amazing to chat with you, and hopefully when you're back from California, we can catch some coffee, something, catch a little bit of conversation outside of work.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you for having me tonight. And guys, if you, I'm gonna definitely open an invitation for everyone that is hearing. If you guys are like interested in a subject for either the podcast or for any courses that you guys are interested, just post it on the comments, and I'll be more than happy to be in touch with Ezekiel and doing all the follow-up to have this like going through a part that you guys enjoy and you guys can use better for you guys.
Once again, Dr. Raymond Rophie, we appreciate it. It's been a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. We will catch you on the next episode, and we will see you, Dr. Raymond Rophie, very, very soon.